off, I'd like to say thank you very much to each and every one of you for coming out tonight. The press, I'd like to say thank you for paying attention to us. And to everybody who lives here in District 19 and those who do not, I welcome you with open arms. This is a situation that we're in, and it's called squatters. We are here in New York, between New York City and New York State. We all know how bad these laws are skewed. Was that a Freudian slip or what? Let's hear it. Let's hear it. Towards tenants more than they are owners and landlords.
Ooh.
Property owners are routinely stripped of their property rights, while the progressive majority defends the bad tenants and the blatant squatters. This has come to a head here in District 19 in recent weeks. From the home in Douglaston Manor, where a former caretaker is refusing to vacate a property which he was never meant to own and turned it into his home, where he's renting out rooms as a bread and breakfast. We also know the house in Flushing, and that property owner was arrested for attempting to secure her own property from illegal squatters, from the very house that we're standing in front of tonight, which is Susan's house. Susan, where are you?
I'm here.
Susan is right here. This is her mother's home, which she inherited. Even worse, to make matters even worse, I think we were all stunned, absolutely stunned, to hear about the Manhattan woman who came home for 4 months in Spain to the apartment that she too inherited from her mother, to find 2 illegal immigrants in that apartment who beat her to a pulp, where her 19-year-old son found her stuffed in a duffel bag. Yes, we have reached a point where very serious decisions must be made. It is important to remember, and this is very important, that the majority of cases of squatters are not people who simply fell on hard times or fell back a few months in their rent. These are people who see the weakness in the New York State and the New York City laws that puts the tenants / squatters ahead of you, the property owners. They can also be called scammers, because that's exactly what they're doing. They know exactly what they are doing. We are currently witnessing an assault on the private property ownership, and that is one of the most fundamental rights we have as American citizens. All this is happening as the progressive politicians in Albany continue to push for what they are calling the Good Cause Eviction Bill.
Vote them out.
Which was, that's right, let the people hear you.
Vote them out.
This bill was written by members of the DSA,
Vote
the
them out.
Democratic
Vote them
Socialistic Party. Now,
Vote them out. Kick them out.
which this bill, the Good Cause Eviction Bill, will further erode private property rights in New York. You think we're at a bad place now? It can and will get worse. Even so-called mainstream Democrats representing this part of this very district have expressed support for this radical, destructive bill and have shown very little interest in protecting the small landlords and homeowners which they represent, I am very sad to say. And I have said it once, and I will say it 100 times. You need to know who you are voting for.
We know.
You must know who these people and how they vote, because they will tell you one thing, and they will go and they will vote the complete opposite of what they are telling you. I know now. I'm in that pot of soup, and I see exactly what is going on. These issues have been made significantly worse by the illegal immigration crisis that's happening in this country right now. Just last week, as we all know, we saw that person on Instagram teaching the people who are flooding our borders, okay, because I'm going to call them invaders, because now this is what they are. We have over 8 million immigrants in illegals in this country right now. In one short year, 8 million. And they are being taught how to use and abuse these weak laws that we already have on the books.
Whoa.
Now let me be clear. I do not agree with the arrest of any homeowner for changing their locks on their homes to keep illegal squatters out. It is necessary to do that. But what happens to the homeowner is they are charged with what is called illegal eviction. And that goes to show you how backwards our laws have become. The police do not, and I spoke to my police, especially in that particular precinct, they do not want to arrest the homeowner. But what they did was they went back to their legal department to find out. And their legal department said, you need to arrest her.
Screw them.
So they had to do it. They served her with a DAT, a desk appearance ticket, and she was out. But the fact remains, these are the laws on the books. It is not the NYPD's fault. Excuse me? That's right. We love the NYPD. Let's give it a hand. Now, here's something too. Just a little education here. It has come to our attention that these squatters are using legitimate realtors to sublet rooms within the property that they are squatting in.
Oh my God.
They enter the house illegally, remain or claim to be there for 30 days to establish the legal protections. Then they engage a legitimate real estate broker and they rent out parts of the house. That is darn right, it's illegal. But you know what? You know what? You cannot gain access. This is why I am currently working on drafting and introducing legislation that would address the length of time for illegal squatters to develop rights to the property. Currently, the time frame is 30 days.
No right.
It is known as the 30-day law.
No right. Even 3 years.
All
no
it
right.
takes is for an illegal squatter to say, I have been here for 30 days. And you know what? He has no proof. No proof. There's no lease. There's no nothing. And you know what? The cops have got to leave him be, or her be. Current time for the illegal squatter, like I just said, is 30 days. My legislation solution to change the amount of time for squatters to gain, no, you don't have to, wait, let me explain something to you.
No
'cause you-
time limit.
Excuse me, let me explain something to you because you clearly do not understand something. 30 days, let me explain to you because you don't understand. 30 days does not give a property owner enough time to go through the legal moves that they need to go through to get a person evicted. What I am looking to do right now is to give the homeowner up to 6 months so that they can get the squatter out of their home. need to change these laws as well, which I'm happy to say.
Where is John Lee?
John Lou, he's upstate fixing the budget.
Yeah.
These scammers, let me make this clear. These scammers need to face criminal charges and be tried in criminal court. For this is illegal activity. Handling these cases through civil courts do not work, and they know it. These are crimes of opportunity. Say it. Crimes of opportunity. They see you leave your house, guess what? They find out you're gone for a month, they're moving in. This is a very scary thing we're facing here.
That's serious.
And they will not be prosecuted because they come under the umbrella of tenants matter, you don't matter. And this is what the city council has done this past year. We have also passed bill number 632. What is 632? You may not perform background checks. No background checks. Background checks are illegal. So if you rent your house or you rent an apartment in your house, you may not ask to see a pay stub. You may not ask for a letter of recommendation. You may not ask them any questions whatsoever, because that is called profiling. Yes. So as we know, homeowners, we're losing our ground left and right. But one thing you know for sure is that Vickie Paladino is on the job. I will always defend you, and anybody who knows me knows exactly what happened last year when I first took office and somebody took up squatting over on 149th Street in Whitestone, and the guy blew the smoke in my face, and he said a few choice words, and I said a few choice words back to him, because you're not intimidating me. You are breaking the law, and I'm going to see to it that if the law is held up, so I will continue to go back to for each and every one of you. You are my constituents. This is where I grew up. This is where I live. New York City is not their city. It's our city. And just know that we will be here for you. I'm standing here with my colleague, Christy Marmorato. Come on up, Christy. Christy Marmorato broke history this year. The first Republican to win in the Bronx in 50 years. She is my closest neighbor because she's right over the Whitestone Bridge and over the Prospect Bridge. We're 5 minutes away. My other woman in office is on the south side of Queens. It's actually harder for her to get here than Christy. So I want to bring Christy up to the mic because she's got things she wants to say as well. Christy, there you go.
Like Vickie said, I am your neighbor right across the water. And in District 13 in the Bronx, it mirrors District 19 here in Queens. Our communities are exactly alike. And I gotta tell you, it's really upsetting and distraught that this is happening and squatting is happening here in Queens, because it's just a matter of time before it starts happening in the Bronx, in my district, and then throughout the rest of the city, okay? These squatters are a complete nuisance in our community. They're a burden to the homeowners, and they are risking public safety. It's only a matter of time before somebody gets really, really hurt. And I'm here to stand with Vickie. I'm here to stand with Vickie. I'm here to support her every step of the way. 30 days is not enough. We need to bring it up to 180, and I'm here to do it, and we are going to see this thing all the way through, because everything that happens in here in Queens is going to happen over to the Bronx to us. And I'm with you, Queens. Thank you so much.
You know, what scares me most now is that the level of anger that everybody's got. And it's really troublesome to me because the last thing I want to see is anybody get hurt. I really will ask you please not to take matters into your own hands. I know it's very difficult and it's getting increasingly more difficult because you as a homeowner have the right to defend your property. And I will tell you, you have every right to defend your property.
Yeah.
You will do it, and you need to do it, because this is getting to the point now where everybody is so crazed with what's going on, the lack of police, you know, as far as we've got two of the best, we got 111 and we got the 109, the best cops who are out there doing their jobs every single night. They're doing their best to patrol the neighborhoods, but you have to be in charge of your own house.
That's right.
I strongly suggest great security lights, security cameras, and I won't say what I want to say, but I will just leave it be at that.
Yeah.
Okay, next I'd like to bring up Susan, the homeowner who owns this house behind us here, and she's going to talk to you a little bit about her plight. Susan.
Can everybody hear me? Okay, great. First of all, I'm not a public speaker, so I apologize right now. I do want to say, though, that the outpouring of support is amazing. Thank you, everyone, for coming. And this is what makes our neighborhoods great. Now, in 1961, my mother, she asked for a little bit of help from her parents, and she was able to put a down payment on this very house. 1961. I came along a couple of years after that. We won't say what year, but I came along after that, and she unfortunately found herself as a single parent. She worked 3 jobs to pay the mortgage on this house. She was very proud of that. She didn't care that she did nails in a salon. She didn't care that she worked in a grocery store. She wanted a roof over my head and the American dream, which is what she bought. She bought that dream. Now, many years later, we come to this problem. And the problem is that my mother trusted and believed in anybody. Came to her for any reason. She was there for you. She would give you anything. So I was working in a local Italian restaurant not far from here, actually on Bell Boulevard. And I met somebody that worked there also, and he's had a plight that, you know, he needed a place to live. I felt bad. So basically, he moved in with his brother and his sister, and I thought that Mom had finally found somebody to take care of her. During COVID, I was like, wow, thank God I have people that can take care of Mom. Not realizing that Mom had early onset dementia. And instead of taking care of Mom, they were draining her and abusing her. So basically, they decided that they would borrow a little bit of money. She gave them her credit card number. They charged $15,000 to start cannabis businesses in 2020. This is what they did. And then, when she found out $15,000, she wouldn't tell me because she was too proud. She was too proud that the only thing that she had to give me, and they were destroying it. They are not poor people, but they've moved in other people. It's a 1-bedroom apartment. They have 7 people living there.
Wow. Get out!
Okay.
Get out! Get out!
Thank you.
Get out!
I did not realize then that they had made her call Discover and say that her credit card was stolen. So she committed fraud unknowingly. Then they asked her to create a fake lease because they wanted to be a citizen. So let's pretend we have a wife and that she actually lives here. So we have a fake lease that they had made up, saying that, yeah, there's a wife that lives here. There was no wife that ever spent a day here. But after she passed, I found a letter in her own handwriting documenting how they abused her and took advantage of her. You can see her handwriting, it's not even good at this point. But this is what they did. I have the credit card bills where they said yes. They reported it as fraudulent. I have a Con Edison bill that are $2,000. $2,000 Con Ed bill. So They came to Mom's funeral. That was really nice. They came to my mother's funeral and then stopped paying the rent. This is what they did. This is what they did to respect my mother. So first of all, they abused her. She wouldn't let me go to the police because she was afraid of them. But they abused her. They took advantage of her. They should be. Exactly. Because my mother was afraid of them. She begged me. She cried. Please, Sue, don't do anything. I have to live here. Oh. Well, now what happened? Yes. What happened is I said to them they could continue to live here if they paid rent. I didn't want to sell my mother's house. I haven't even been able to go through her stuff. It's just not fair that I'm forced to sell the house. But to make matters even worse, I sold the house and they still won't leave. They won't leave. I have nothing left of my mother but this house. That's all I have. I broke my foot right before Christmas. I've been out of work 4 months. My stove doesn't work in my house. My closet doesn't open in my house. But I can't fix my house. I can't take care of my children because I have to pay their bills. And it's not fair. It's not fair. This is my mother, the person that they took advantage of. And it can't go on. It can't. Where are my constitutional rights? Right up my ass. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. Thank you, Vickie. And
So the bottom line is here that these people came in as renters. Now that's another thing that we've got going on. People come in as renters, and then, because I have another friend who took her 3 years to get rid of, same situation. Her mother rented, she had a beautiful Center Hall Colonial on 33rd Avenue. Her mother rented out the lower level of the house to what they thought were very nice people, and they were, until her mother suddenly died. When her mother passed away, they stopped. There you are, Laura. That's it. Till her mother passed away, and it took her 3 years of paying the bills, them flooding the house, for them to finally get out. Understand something here. This house that's been sold, Susan's house, same like Laura, these houses cannot go closing unless the house is empty.
Vacant on title.
So, vacant on title, yeah, exactly. Vacant on title or order to vacate. You must be served with an order to vacate, and guess what? They can continue to stay. You have no rights. So you know what? It is time now for each and every one of you, and that's why I am standing here today. You've got to start to beat the drum. You're not going to take it anymore. These are laws you can't change. Never, ever stop fighting. Never, ever give up. Because as soon as you do, it is lost. We are this close. I don't know how many of you realize we're this close to losing everything, including the roof over your head.
Vote them out. Vote them out. Vote them out. Vote them out. Vote them out.
This is all there is now.
Vote them out. 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 Vote them out.
We have here with us tonight Paul DiBenedetto, who is President of Community Board 11. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, Council Member. If you didn't, I'm the chair of the Community Board 11. If you don't know, community boards all through the city, all 5 boroughs, everybody has a community board. It's a collection of civic people who are volunteers who want to protect their neighborhoods and protect our quality of life. Now, this is obviously a huge issue for us, and I want to tell you a little story. I live in the Belcourt section of Bayside, which is just to the west of the strip on Bell Boulevard. And there was a squatter in a house in our neighborhood, 38th Avenue and 209th Street. For 3 years, these people lived in this house and just took it over, and they started to fight with the neighbors about it because they were up all night. They had parties all night. It was a horrible situation, just a block and a half from my house. It got so bad that one night, some thugs came and they had a shootout in the middle of the street. 21 bullets were fired. 21 bullets were fired. They went through a car, and they went right next to, it was in the middle of the night, so the family wasn't in the car, but it went right through a car seat where a baby would have been. Okay? That's because these squatter laws protect. Now, I'm sure at some point in our history, squatter laws were good for people who were abused by slumlords. But not everybody's a slumlord. In fact, most people aren't slumlords. But somehow the system has overtaken it. And all these people across here behind us, that house I'm talking about, the poor woman in the city who was murdered. People came from Spain, right? And they went to sell the mother's house, and they killed her. Okay, so this is the whole point. The laws have to change. You have to know your state assemblyman. You have to your state assemblyman. You have to know your state senator. Okay, I know them both for our area. Okay, you have to write them a letter. No, you have to write them a letter.
What do they do?
They're in Albany. It's the budget. We're gonna give them that. Okay, but you need to write a letter to them and say, I want the squatter laws changed. You need to write your council member. Oh no, she's right here, so you don't need to write her. Okay? But if you were from somewhere where Vickie's not your council member, like just to the south of us, write her a letter. Okay? Make your voice heard. Come to the community board. We meet the first Monday of the month. We're not legislative, but we're a city agency, and we'll take up your thing. It'll go into the record. Call 311 if there's a problem. I know 311 sounds like a joke, but it isn't really. It goes into the record. You need a paper trail. You need to get these people out, and we need to change the laws. Thank you, Vickie.
He's 100% right. And now I'd like to bring up Hung Chen. There you are. Come on up.
Alright, good evening everyone. So thank you so much for my company, Vickie Paladino, giving me this chance to share my story, which is very painful. Okay, thank you. So, make my story short because it's too late right now. My name is Tom, small landlord from Queens. So, my eviction case in the court was over 2 years. My tenants only paid 1 month's rent since they moved in. So they refused to leave until I find out there's a criminal activity on the news about them. Until I find out there's a warrant from Kansas, from upstate. They are under wanted. So on the day they escape, move out my property, I call my attorney. Can I change the law to protect my property? My lawyer told me, you cannot do this because your case is still open in the court. And your case is frozen by Iran right now. There's nothing you can do. If you change your law and somebody come back, you will consider as illegal eviction. So I will be in big trouble. So I take the suggestion from my lawyer and I change the law. But believe or not, a few days later, a new group of people moving to my property without my permission. So on the day, I call police. 2 police show up, and then they told police they are friends of my tenants. They got invited to live there to watch the house. And then the police asked them, could you call the tenant your friend to confirm you are the friends of my tenants? But they say, oh, my tenant was in hospital. He is very sick, but he will be back next week. So police tell me, wait for a week and wait for your tenants to come back. If your tenants could not come back at the time, we will help you to evict them. So a week later, I was there again. I called the police again at that time. And this time, I was so disappointed. Because these 2 police did not ask them to prove who they are. And instead of to question them, they question me. Could you prove they are not friends of my tenants? Could you prove they are not invited into your property? I was so shocked. Why, as a legal property owner, I'm get questioned? As an illegal squatter in my house, they are allowed to stay. So, luckily God bless my family and me. Since my tenants owe so much money to Con Edison, couple $1,000 to Con Edison. So Con Edison finally came out and shut down the servers. Those squatters stopped moving out. But I know. But I just don't understand why the common sense in our society right now completely flip around at the wrong side. We are as the hard worker. We pay tax. We support our government. But we are the only group get abused.
We gotta open our eyes.
Definitely, we gotta vote. We gotta vote for common sense. We gotta vote for whoever like Vickie Paladino to be our representative in government.
Get the mayor out.
Today, as a small landlord in New York, what we want just a fair law. We don't ask a law that do us a favor, but just be fair. But I don't understand why it's so difficult to be listened and heard by government and lawmakers. I hope every single one here today can stand up and speak for ourselves. And thank you so much, Vickie Paladino, give us so great opportunity to share all the stories, to speak up for us. I hope one day New York can be a better New York. Not today, not like today. Thank you, everybody.
Well, everybody, you heard a lot of stories here tonight. This is real life. This is what comes into my office every single day. I get people in my office every single day. And they're not just from District 19. They're from other neighboring districts who are very, very unhappy with their city council people. You understand? I need people to sign on to whatever legislation I introduce. This should be bipartisan, as so many things in this city should be. Democrats and Republicans coming together so that we can find middle ground. This is a time now that the D and the R doesn't matter, so long as you speak for your constituents. I have a city council person I know quite well. All I ask them to do is please stand on your beliefs. Say what you say to me in this room or this office and take it and vote the way you tell me you're going to vote. But the bottom line is they're afraid. They are afraid to be primaried by their own party. And that should shame them all. So please, I will close on this note. We have only just begun to fight. I have been on Newsmax twice. I have been on Sid in the morning. I have been covered by more radio and TV in the last year pertaining to so many things that if people would have said to me, boy, Vickie, we're going to want your voice, when all anybody wants to do is put earmuffs on in my house. But anyway, can get a little annoying. But anyway, I am the voice of the people. I represent the voice of the people. And one thing I said to you when I ran for election, I may be in the minority, but I promise you this. Total and absolute transparency. We will blow open those big brown wooden doors to City Hall. That's the people's house. That's your house. And in my line of work now, I am no politician. I am an elected official. I was elected by the people to serve the people. And that's my job. Thank you very much, everybody. Let's pay attention. Let's pay attention to our neighbors. Let's pay attention to our neighbors. Thank you. Thank you.
Sign the petition. Sign the petitions. We got great candidates over here.